AI is getting more and more advanced every single day, minute by the minute, and we use it in all areas of our lives. Right now, everybody in the world who has access to a computer has used AI in one way or another. Now, today, I'm gonna go off the rails a little bit, and we're gonna talk about it being election season. Now, I'm not getting political with you guys here, but I wanna show you guys the power of AI and how we can use it to become more informed. Today, I'm gonna show you guys how to use NotebookLM to upload our entire voter manual from whatever state it is that you're in PDF form and basically train a large language model on every single aspect of that. And now you can use it as a consultant to let you know exactly what it is that you'll be voting for. This has nothing to do with any side or the other and everything to do with being informed so you can make good decisions. We need to do the same thing for ourselves and in our lives that we do for our clients, and that is try to inform and educate them so they can make the best decisions for their family. So without any further ado, let's jump into NotebookLM and show you this exact process so you can duplicate it. What's up, guys? I'm Adam Gillespie, and I help realtors like you level up their game by the responsible and ethical use of AI and proper implementation inside of your CRM. As mentioned today, we are diving into something different, so let's just jump right into it so we can help you become better informed. All right, guys, here we are inside of NotebookLM, and for those of you that don't know, this is an amazing model that is powered by Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro. Now, while we've had our complaints about how the front end of Gemini 1.5 operates, this is really cool because this is a grounded model, okay? So that means it doesn't have all of the training. It has the natural language capabilities and the next token prediction capabilities that any large language model does, or that Gemini 1.5 Pro has, but it doesn't have access to the outside data. So this model is grounded, right? It's not out there in the air able to pull everything out of the internet and the cloud, right? So now we have a grounded model that only pulls information from the sources that we upload to it. So what we're gonna do is really simple, guys. We're gonna stay informed. So what we do is we go over to Google and we type in the Colorado Voter Manual 2024 PDF. You can do this for any state, guys. Let's say that you are in Kansas, right? You can come over here to Kansas and you can find the 2024 Voter Information Guide for Kansas, right? This works in all of our states. So what I want you to do is go to your state and I want you to pull this up. You're gonna see, guys, this is not a short manual, right? But the beauty about NotebookLM is that it can hold up to 50 or something like that sources of documents that have hundreds of thousands of words on them. So in the end, you can actually store like 25 million plus words inside this knowledge base and create your own custom grounded LLM that only does what we call RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, and we're only pulling from this source, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and download this right here, all right? And then we go back to NotebookLM and then we just go ahead and add a source, right? So we're gonna go ahead and add the book that we just downloaded on the PDF, and now this is literally trained on the entire Colorado manual. Now, one thing I wanna bring up about NotebookLM is it doesn't save chats, guys. So if you have a huge conversation in here and you don't save the notes individually, then you're gonna lose the information. So the goal here is just to be consultative with it, right? We wanna chat back and forth with it so that way we can get a better understanding of what these policies are and what these amendments are, or even who these politicians are that we're gonna be putting into office, right? So we just wanna get the real information without any of the opinionated influence that comes from either side. So here we go, right? We've got it in here now. We're gonna go ahead and just say, hey, summarize the entire manual, right? And give me the key points, all right? Here we go. It's going to summarize the manual and give us the key points. So this is going to be a quick way for us to be able to see exactly what's inside this guide, right? And then we can have a conversation with NotebookLM behind it and ask any questions that you can possibly think of so you get absolute clarity, right? So look at this. 2024 general election. Election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Obviously, we knew that. Ballots are mailed out. So here's the content. So it says the description of each measure on the ballot. We've got titles and context. So here we go, right here. 14 statewide measures, 7 proposed changes to the state constitution, 5 proposed changes to the state statutes, 2 are questions referred to by voters and state legislator. And then you can see, like, it gives us the whole thing, right? Like, it's a pretty decent explanation of this. So look at it here. Just for simplicity's sakes, let's just dive into something. Like right here, Amendment G, an overview of the current homestead exemption, okay? So if you see over here, you hover over 11 right there, and it actually shows you inside the voter manual PDF where it got this information. So it's pretty dialed, guys. It's not gonna hallucinate and pull out information from a different source because this is the only source that it has. That's what makes this such a powerful tool when it comes to really, really important stuff like what laws we're voting for or what amendments we're voting for. This is huge, guys, because we've never been able to do this as humans before. They give you a 1,000-page guide and you're supposed to read it, right? Like nobody really does that. Maybe a few people, but the regular American doesn't read that shit. So then they end up online and they see a headline and they believe that, and that's how we become a very misinformed society. So here we can take the raw data, we can put it in there, we can analyze it, and we can conversate with a large language model to help us get a better understanding. And I'm telling you guys, this is so incredibly powerful. It's crazy. So let's just dive into this. Let's say, I want all the details on Amendment G, right? I probably spelled amendment right, but that's all right. Let's just go ahead and correct that. I want all the details on Amendment G and how it affects us. And you can say middle class versus upper class, right? Or high class. So now what's going to happen is the large language model is obviously reading this manual, and with its natural language processing and next token prediction capabilities, we're going to be able to have a conversation that's going to be pretty dialed on this. All right. It says that Amendment G seeks to amend the Colorado Constitution to expand eligibility for a property tax exemption for veterans with disabilities. Okay, right on. The amendment specifically expands eligibility to veterans who have a total disability individual unemployability TDIU rating as determined by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. Currently, this property tax exemption, also called the homestead exemption, reduces property taxes owed on a qualifying homeowner's primary residence by exempting 50% of the first $200,000 of the home's value from taxation. Hey guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Veterans that go and fight for our country and ensure our constitutional freedom, they shouldn't have to pay taxes. I just am going to lay that out there right now. Hopefully we can get together as a society someday and make that happen because they already have it hard enough and they go through some crazy, crazy stuff that the average person cannot even fathom what that's like. So they deserve some sort of recognition. And I think that, not having to pay property taxes or even income taxes would be great for them. So anyways, I digress. So basically where we're at is it's going to explain to us what a TDIU rating is. It's going to explain to us eligibility. So it's going into detail, guys. Like we can get very comprehensive with this and we can get a really good understanding. So let's see here. This kind of shows the bracket, the tax bracket, right? With before and after, it looks like. Let's see. So the table shown below displays the tax reduction of a homeowner would experience for a home valued at $400,000 to $600,000. The table also estimates the tax reduction for a home valued at $1 million without the exemption and with the exemption before Amendment G and after Amendment G. So let's see. Amendment G is estimated to increase state spending by $1.8 million, which will be for the 2025-26 budget year with similar increased expectations for subsequent years. These funds are going to be used to reimburse local government for property tax revenue loss during the expanded exemption. Why do we have to reimburse them on that? Maybe if they didn't recklessly spend our money on other stuff outside of our interest, they'd have a little bit more money. But once again, I digress. I don't want to make this political, guys. I do not side on either aisle. If you guys really want to know, I'm unaffiliated, man, because I do stuff like this where I vote on policy, not on position, right? We want to vote on policy. We want to vote on logic. We want to vote because we are informed. And this is the best way to do it in the quickest manner with the most efficiency. So here's the impact, guys, on the middle and high class. All right. These sources do not explicitly analyze the impact of Amendment G on different socioeconomic classes. It's important to note the measure of this specifically targeted at veterans with disabilities to qualify for the TDIU rating. This group includes individuals from various economic backgrounds. The benefit for the property tax exemption is tied to home ownership, with greater savings for those with higher valued homes. Further analysis beyond the provided sources would need to be determined to the specific distribution of benefits. Okay, so it's just kind of disclosing that to us, right? So here's our arguments for. Arguments for Amendment G. Veterans who cannot hold a steady job due to disabilities need property tax relief as much as, or more than, other veterans who qualify for the homestead exemption and are still not able to work. Including veterans with a TDIU rating in the homestead exemption helps to ensure that veterans in need receive tax relief. And here's the arguments against it. The TDIU rating is not necessarily permanent. Expanding the exemption to include veterans with the TDIU rating will make property taxes more complicated to administer, harder to administer fairly, and more reliant on decisions by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs that could be subject to change. So, and then it gives us a link right here, right? So here we're kind of getting a gist of it, right? We're like, okay, so clearly veterans need help, especially if they can't work. And if they're paying out the ass on property taxes, that's not a good thing. Those that seem against it seem more worried about how we're going to recoup the lost tax from that. So once again, it's back to a spending issue, right? Now, if we think about government and reckless spending, that's widespread and it's pretty much common knowledge, right? So why do they keep coming after this instead of trying to figure out their spending, right? So I just want to ask it this question real quick and say, you know, just what I said, right? Like, it seems like the argument against it is just to make up tax revenue. So let's just confirm that we're understanding this correctly, right? Because we don't want to be misinformed. So let's see what it says here. Yeah, you've observed that the arguments against seem focused on generating tax revenue. While the sources don't directly address this observation, they do provide information that allows for a closer examination. So the TDIU rating is not necessarily permanent. Expanding the exemption to include veterans, it's going to make the property taxes more complicated to administer, harder to administer fairly, okay, and more reliant. That's what it said there. So the argument highlights that the TDIU ratings can change, meaning a veteran could lose eligibility for the exemption. This fluctuation could create administrative burdens for local government tasked with reassessing property taxes. The argument suggests that expanding the exemption could make the property tax system more complex and potentially lead to unfair application. Determining eligibility based on TDIU ratings, which are subject to change and made by an external entity, aka the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, could introduce some inconsistencies. Well, that's not good. We don't want that, right? So it's important to note that the fiscal impact statement doesn't project a slight increase in state spending to reimburse its local government, does project to reimburse the local government for tax revenue, right? So the argument against G presented in the source is primarily focused on the potential administrative and fairness implications of the expanded exemption. Therefore, while concerns about tax revenue might be a factor, the provided argument didn't really align with that. All right, see, so I kind of took my own direction with it, right? This kind of lines us back up. So we don't want unfair treatment, right? So this is a really good example of how we can keep going back and forth until we feel comfortable that we know enough about this policy. Now, this could take some time, right? But it's definitely not going to take as long or be as tedious as trying to read this manual word for word. So this is what I want people to understand as we move forward with this technology is that, guys, this is a game changer. We can really dive super deep into some of these arguments and some of these issues and make sure that when we vote with confidence and we vote with information and we vote with what our morals line up with whatever information it is that we're voting for, right? So once again, guys, this is not a partisan-based YouTube video. I don't care what side of the aisle you guys are on. We are all Americans in my eyes, and I love you guys. I just want you to be informed, right? Because we know that the media is misleading us. We know that the media is being sensational, and it's creating a divide between our country when we all really do have a lot in common, and we share an American dream together. And guys, the more informed we can get and the less BS we absorb from them, the better it's going to be for us as a country. So once again, guys, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for going through this. I hope that this is going to bring value to you and that you guys can use this. Don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. Just comment below and I will respond to every single comment. And it's not a robot, it's me. So guys, I love you, and I just wanted to spread a little bit of word. I know this isn't really real estate related, but it is really important because we all need to be making educated decisions, especially when it comes to our elected officials. So I hope all this made sense and that you will be able to implement this as soon as you possibly can before the election comes up, and also use this afterwards, right? Like, guys, this can be used for anything way outside of this too. This is research in any factor in any manner, right? So just remember, we have this technology at our fingertips, and it's an amazing, amazing asset to have as a normal person. All right, guys, well, there you have it. It is literally that easy for us to take these documents. Then it goes beyond voter manuals, right? Like, we can put in state bills and House bills, and we can finally get the real inside scoop, and we no longer have to listen to the media or read these headlines that are just out there to create attention and division. I want you guys to know how powerful artificial intelligence is in more ways than just our business. This can keep you more informed than we've ever been as a society, and these politicians won't be able to sneak in their special interests and stuff like that in these 1,000-page bills, because now we can read them very, very quickly by the use of a large language model or a grounded model like NotebookLM. So I hope you guys found value in this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any of these awesome trainings and updates. And until next time, stay up, stay strong, stay informed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.